Hi there, it's Michał from StruSoft and welcome to another tip of the week. This time I would like to give you a short overview over the cost estimate module that we have. So without further ado, let me quickly give you an idea of what we're working with. So let's open Project Manager, and here we have a very simple model with a bunch of elements: sandwich walls, hollow cores, standard walls. Now I'll open the cost estimation module. Right, that's the same project. We have the overview of what elements are there, the areas, masses of those elements. Now, in the cost estimation module, we can actually do some estimation on both the time required for production and the cost of the production. And there is a bunch of other two ways how we can specify those estimates. So first and foremost, let's select the cost method. So we can estimate it based on fixed prices of elements, or rather fixed prices assigned to particular types of elements, or we can estimate based on the prices of components. The cost based on fixed prices is less accurate but way faster, and cost based on priced components is more time consuming to input the data, but it is much more accurate as we actually price out every single internal component, the materials, the form costs and whatnot. But let's focus on the fixed prices first. So for that, we actually need to assign prices to the elements. So let's start with hollow cores. Say our material cost is 10 euros per square meter. The working cost, so manual labor on that, let's say that's going to be half that at 5 euros per square meter, and operating cost, let's say that's going to be 30% of the summarized cost of both of the materials and labor. And let's save that. Let's go to the sandwich walls and let's add that. Say it might be more expensive per area. Let's working cost, let's make that half of that, and again 30% for the operational cost. And let's go to wall. Let's make that cheap, slightly cheaper of course, and maybe 25% for this, and let's save that. So with those saved changes saved, we can actually go to the production cost section. And in here, I can mark all the elements that I require. Here, we'll see that cost is 0 now, but as soon as I calculate that, I am getting values. So I am getting cost per element, and I'm saving that to the database, and it's there. So very quick and easy. I can also have a chart view of that, so it gives me an overview of the whole project cost, of what's the material cost, what's the labor cost, and what's the operating cost. And there's also available filtering on the statuses of elements if we have those set up in our model. Now, that's one way. Of course, we can also estimate time with this method. So if we go back, we can specify time per area. So we can specify say it's going to be 2 hours per square meter for a hollow core. Sorry, you need to save that. Yeah, and maybe sandwich walls, let's make that 3 hours per square meter, and let's save that. So we can go to production time, we can select that, calculate time required. So it calculates that time for each element, and we can of course have a very clear view of what everything, how it all looks like. Right. Okay, so that was the first method. Now another method, let's go back to let's not save those changes, we don't need that. Another method is costs based on fixed pricing. Let me save that. We'll just overwrite all the previous methods. Now, in here, we don't really specify the cost of components. We specify costs of components in the settings tab. And under price lists, if we go down, we can specify, for example, the cost of all the reinforcement, right? If we have any reinforcement in our model, the cost of cast-in materials. So here's the list of all the available cast-in materials that we have in our project, and we can assign some costs in it, right? We can also specify the cost of forms. So for both slabs, walls, sandwich walls, and whatnot, we can specify the cost per element, the costs of actually creating openings in there, meaning in the elements based on the area of those openings, costs of end caps as well. So if a specific end cap is required for a particular type of element, we can also specify the cost of, well, basically how much does it cost to actually prepare that before production starts and whatnot. So here's where we would set that. I'm going to leave everything at 0 for now, but let's quickly calculate the costs for our elements in here. Let's calculate the costs. There will be some costs, some values are input there, so we are given some values. And one thing that's worth noting, that I can right click on an element and I check cost. What it will do is it will give me information on the component costs, rather. If there is some information missing, then like in here, for example, this sandwich wall, the CIMO 271, it has no cost. Okay, it doesn't have a cost, so we can actually then input that cost into our database, and then we can recalculate, and it will add the value of that missing component cost to that. So basically, that's a very quick overview of the two methods and how we used the cost estimate. And thank you for your attention, and see you in the next one.